Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Form intrigues, in an underhand manner. A schematic or preliminary plan. An elaborate and systematic plan of action. A group of independent but interrelated elements comprising a unified whole. An internal representation of the world. An organization of concepts and actions that can be revised by new information about the world. A statement that evades the question by cleverness or trickery. Devise a system or form a scheme for. Form intrigues, in an underhand manner. Encourage or assent to illegally or criminally. A crafty and involved plot to achieve your, usually sinister, ends. Form intrigues, in an underhand manner. Cause to be interested or curious. A clandestine love affair. A sketchy summary of the main points of an argument or theory. A schematic or preliminary plan. Draw up an outline or sketch for something. Describe roughly or briefly or give the main points or summary of. Sketch the outline of the book. Trace the shape of. The line that appears to bound an object. A schematic or preliminary plan. An internal representation of the world. An organization of concepts and actions that can be revised by new information about the world. An elaborate and systematic plan of action. The branch of military science dealing with military command and the planning and conduct of a war. An ordered manner. Orderliness by virtue of being methodical and well organized. We can't do it unless we establish some system around here. A group of independent but interrelated elements comprising a unified whole. A vast system of production and distribution and consumption keep the country going. A complex of methods or rules governing behavior. They have to operate under a system they oppose. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. He tried to understand their system of classification. A group of physiologically or anatomically related organs or parts. The body has a system of organs for digestion. A procedure or process for obtaining an objective. They had to devise a system that did not depend on cooperation. Instrumentality that combines interrelated interacting artifacts designed to work as a coherent entity. He bought a new stereo system. Physical chemistry, a sample of matter in which substances in different phases are in equilibrium. In a static system, oil cannot be replaced by water on a surface. The living body considered as made up of interdependent components forming a unified whole. Exercise helped him get the alcohol out of his system. Avoid or try to avoid fulfilling, answering, or performing duties, questions, or issues. He dodged the issue. An elaborate or deceitful scheme contrived to deceive or evade. A statement that evades the question by cleverness or trickery. A quick evasive movement. Make a sudden movement in a new direction so as to avoid. The child dodged the teacher's blow. Move to and fro or from place to place, usually in an irregular course. The pickpocket dodged through the crowd. Non-performance of something distasteful, as by deceit or trickery, that you are supposed to do. Deliberately avoiding, keeping away from or preventing from happening. A statement that evades the question by cleverness or trickery. Make a plot of. A secret scheme to do something, especially something underhand or illegal. They concocted a plot to discredit the governor. A small area of ground covered by specific vegetation. A bean plot. Make a schematic or technical drawing of that shows interactions among variables or how something is constructed. A chart or graph showing the movements or progress of an object. Devise the sequence of events in a literary work or a play, movie, or ballet. The writer is plotting a new novel. Plan secretly, usually something illegal. They plotted the overthrow of the government. The story that is told in a novel or play or movie, etc. The characters were well drawn but the plot was banal. An arrangement scheme. A plan for seating guests. Scale drawing of a structure. The plans for City Hall were on file. Make or work out a plan for, devise. Plan an attack. Make a design of. Plan out in systematic, often graphic form. Plan the new wing of the museum. A series of steps to be carried out or goals to be accomplished. They drew up a 6-step plan. Have the will and intention to carry out some action. He plans to be in graduate school next year. Make plans for something. He is planning a trip with his family. An integrated course of academic studies. Arrange a program of or for. A system of projects or services intended to meet a public need. An announcement of the events that will occur as part of a theatrical or sporting event. Write a computer program. A radio or television show. Computer science. A sequence of instructions that a computer can interpret and execute. A series of steps to be carried out or goals to be accomplished. A performance, or series of performances, at a public presentation. An integrated course of academic studies. He was admitted to a new program at the university. Arrange a program of or for. Program the 80th birthday party. A system of projects or services intended to meet a public need. He proposed an elaborate program of public works. An announcement of the events that will occur as part of a theatrical or sporting event. You can't tell the players without a program. Write a computer program. A document stating the aims and principles of a political party. They won the election even though they offered no positive program. A radio or television show. Did you see his program last night? Computer science. A sequence of instructions that a computer can interpret and execute. The program required several hundred lines of code. A series of steps to be carried out or goals to be accomplished. A performance, or series of performances, at a public presentation. The program lasted more than 2 hours. A plan for actively doing something. A set that is closed, associative, has an identity element and every element has an inverse. Form a group or group together. Any number of entities, members, considered as a unit. Chemistry. 2 or more atoms bound together as a single unit and forming part of a molecule. Arrange into a group or groups. Can you group these shapes together? Any number of entities, members, considered as a unit. A system for classifying things into groups. The activity of putting things together in groups. A presentation to the mind in the form of an idea or image. The state of serving as an official and authorized delegate or agent. A performance of a play. A body of legislators that serve in behalf of some constituency. A congressional vacancy occurred in the representation from California. A creation that is a visual or tangible rendering of someone or something. A factual statement made by one party in order to induce another party to enter into a contract. The sales contract contains several representations by the vendor. An activity that stands as an equivalent of something or results in an equivalent. A statement of facts and reasons made in appealing or protesting. Certain representations were made concerning police brutality. The act of representing, standing in for someone or some group and speaking with authority in their behalf. The right of being represented by delegates who have a voice in some legislative body. A presentation to the mind in the form of an idea or image. A presentation to the mind in the form of an idea or image. The state of being false or untrue. Argument could not determine its truth or falsity. A false statement. A false statement. The act of rendering something false is by fraudulent changes, of documents or measures etc., or counterfeiting. A false statement. A strategy intended to prevent or counter terrorism. A book containing the scripts of one or more dramatic plays. The 1963 playbook leaves out the whole first scene. A notebook containing descriptions and diagrams of the plays that a team has practiced, especially an American football team. A scheme or set of strategies for conducting a business campaign or a political campaign. They borrowed a page from the playbook of the opposition. An elaborate or deceitful scheme contrived to deceive or evade. A maneuver in a game or conversation. Breathe with difficulty. Breathing with a husky or whistling sound. Briticism, a clever or amusing scheme or trick. A clever wheeze probably succeeded in neutralizing the German espionage threat. Figurative, a carefully thought-out strategy for achieving an objective in war or politics or business or personal affairs. Newscasters speculated about the president's game plan for an invasion. Sports, a plan for achieving an objective in some sport. Any improvised arrangement for temporary use. An elaborate or deceitful scheme contrived to deceive or evade. His testimony was just a contrivance to throw us off the track. A device or control that is very useful for a particular job. The act of devising something. An artificial or unnatural or obviously contrived arrangement of details or parts etc. The plot contained too many improbable contrivances to be believable. The faculty of contriving, inventive skill. His skillful contrivance of answers to every problem. Flow in an irregular current with a bubbling noise. Expel gas from the stomach. A speculative scheme that depends on unstable factors that the planner cannot control. A real estate bubble. A dome-shaped covering made of transparent glass or plastic. A hollow globule of gas, e.g., air or carbon dioxide. An impracticable and illusory idea. He didn't want to burst the newcomer's bubble. Cause to form bubbles. Bubble gas through a liquid. Form, produce, or emit bubbles. Rise in bubbles or as if in bubbles. Bubble to the surface. An unstable construction with playing cards. A speculative scheme that depends on unstable factors that the planner cannot control. His proposal was nothing but a house of cards. A formal scheme for inducing someone, as employees, to do something.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.